feel home again. Born again, born again. One day I know I'll feel strong again. I left my head. Many times I've been told all this talk will make you old. So I close my eyes, look behind, moving on, moving on. So I close my eyes, look behind, moving on. Hey, Drew James here from LearnGuitarInLondon.com. I'm playing the wonderful Home Again by Michael Kiwanuka. Really, really lovely song. It's got some great little fingerstyle that we're going to be getting into, some lovely picking that happens throughout the tune. And also, if you're a bit further along in your journey, the singing is really, really nice as well on top of that. Now, I do have tab for this one. It's completely for free. All you have to do is go to my website, just takes a name and email address to join the student area, and there is hundreds of free tabs there. So I've left a link in the video description and there's a link in the cards right now for you to click on. So it'd be great if you could have the tab as we're playing along together. Anyway, let's do a close-up on both hands and see how this wonderful song is played. Okay, so to get started, if you take an F major 7 chord, okay? Now if you don't know what that is, it's fret 1 on the B string, fret 2 on the G string, fret 3 on the D string, right? So you take this chord shape and you move it up 2 frets. So then you're on fret 3, 4 and 5, okay? And that's the first chord that needs to be picked. Now this song is fingerstyle. So you need to kind of have a rough idea of what I call a sort of basic fingerstyle rule, which is based on a classical approach. So your thumb is always in charge of the top 3 strings, or what we call the bass notes, because they've got the lowest sound. Your index finger is in charge of the G string, your middle finger's in charge of the B, and your ring finger's in charge of the E. Eddie ate Dynamite, goodbye Eddie, if you don't know the names of the strings. So, with our chord down, so let's call this, we're going to call this chord, it is a G, technically. So I'm going to call it a G, but don't think of this position, okay? So, with that chord, we're going to get used to playing in this style. So it's thumb on the D string, index on the G, and middle on the B. And we're going to do that 4 times. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that is what we're actually going to call a bar, all right? So 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Okay, so the beginning of the song is just that. Okay, obviously it's a little faster. And then we do that again. 2, 3, 4. So that's 8 in total. And then we do it for 2 more. So 10 in absolute total. Okay, and that's when the singing starts. And on the again, you move your middle and ring finger up to the D and the G string. Sorry, so the D and the A string. You leave your index finger where it is. Now, does that chord shape seem familiar to you? It should do, because it's a C chord. So it's a C chord moved up to fret 3. So like your F major 7 was moved up to fret 3, your C chord is now moved up. And it's a really easy change. You just move your middle and ring finger up a step of strings. Simple as that, okay? So if you've got the tab, which hopefully you have from Learn Guitar in London, I'm on bar 3 at the moment, and we're going once, twice, then change to that C style chord. And this time you're going to play the A string, and then the D string, and then the G string. So that's thumb, thumb, index, okay? So normally we're going, well, how we've started is thumb, index, middle, then thumb, thumb, index, thumb, thumb, index. Now we just do that twice. So bar 3 is home again, home. Then back to the first chord, again, twice. then back to the C style chord, twice. Okay, so really we're only picking two things, this or this. Okay, so it's pretty simple if you think of it like that, all right? Now from here, on the One Day I Know, you're going to move to a B7 chord. Now you don't need the whole chord, so fret 1 on the D string, fret 2 on the A string, and fret 2 also on the G string. We don't need the pinky finger on fret 2 on the F sharp note on that we'd normally have in a B7 if we were strumming it. We just need these, so just these three fingers, so make that shape. So a little bit of practice will be going from this to this. So a little bit of focus practice, getting that chord shape right. That will go a long, long way. Now when you're on this chord, the picking pattern is the A string, the D string, and the G string, just like it was for the C. Okay, so we're going to do that 4 times. One day I know I'll feel. Okay, next. Technically it's an E minor chord, but what I like to do with this is just, you've got this B7 chord, just move your middle finger down to the D string. So just moving that down, lifting up everything else. You know, you don't want to be overcomplicating these movements. Try not to think of it as an E minor necessarily, just think of it as a one-fingered chord because it'll be much easier to pick up. So this is the B7, then we move that middle finger down, lift up everything else, then thumb on thickest string, thumb on D string, thumb on B string. So, sorry, middle finger on B string. So this one, picking wise on this hand, is probably the most complex so far. So thumb, thumb, middle. You do that 4 times. So it's mostly a theme throughout the song. You either do chords 4 times with that picking pattern or twice if it's what we call half bar, okay? Okay, so let's take it from the beginning of the song up to that point. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, Homer, C, Homer, back to the G, C, B7. One day I know I'll feel E minor. Okay, great. Beauty of learning these sorts of songs is repetition. So from here on in, you've learned a lot of it already, so well done. We're going to go back to, so we're going to be moving from this chord back to the first chord. So once again, a little bit of practice, just moving to that shape. So it'll take a little bit of practice there. So we're going to do that twice. Born to the C, born back to the G, C. Okay, so when I'm saying G and C, I understand that that terminology could be a little confusing. So I'm using this as it's a C shape, right? So I'm sure you know the C shape really, really well. Technically it's a D add 11 chord, but I just think that my fingers go to that faster than thinking of it as a D add 11, because my fingers wouldn't be able to go to that really quickly, all right? So where are we? To this, we're about to repeat. Again, one day I know I left my... Okay, so as you can see, a lot of repetition there. If you've got the tab, we've gone up to bars 1 to 10 so far. We're now on the I left my head part. So we're going to move to an A minor chord. All right, and with your A minor, you're going to be picking the A string, G string, and B string, like this. Now we are going to do a little bit of messing about with the A minor, but not much. So the first time we're going to go A, D, B, or thumb, index, middle. Then we're going to, on our picking hand, lift up the index finger and play the open B string. Okay, so we've got once with the index finger down, once with it lifted up. Then we're going to put it back and do it twice. Okay, so that bar again is... Good, okay, so that's I left my head. Then into a D chord. Now the best way to think about this, I know it says suspended second, but just think of it as your D, okay, your regular D, and you're going to start with that D with the middle finger lifted up on it. This makes a D suspended second. The picking pattern is the D string, B string, and E string. Then you're going to put the middle finger down and do the same picking pattern. So it's, then put it down, then lift it up again for 2 more passes of that picking pattern. Thumb in, thumb, middle, ring, thumb, middle, ring. Okay, so. That's the whole bar. Backing up to the A minor bar. Okay, good. So this is kind of like a little join on the I left my head to the next part. So, left my head, D, put the finger down, let it go. Okay, moving into the next section. Leave your ring finger where it is. Bring your index finger, staying on the same fret, but just move it up past the D string to the A string. And this will give you the next chord, which is sort of based on a B minor. Okay, so the picking pattern for this is thumb on the A string, thumb on the D string, middle finger on the B string. And we're going to do that, you guessed it, 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're then going to change to a C chord, which is fret 1 on the B string, fret 2 on the D, and fret 3 on the A. And we're going to do the same, different picking pattern. It's thumb on the A, index finger on the G, and middle finger on the B. Once again, 4 times. Okay, good. So to repeat, we've got the B minor style chord to the C chord. That then goes back to the B minor style chord 4 times to an A minor for the last bar on the first page. Okay, so this should seem familiar because we've done it in bar 11, but we just don't finish it off. This time we're going to let it ring. So we're going to go with the index finger down on the A minor, thumb, index, middle, then lift up the index finger, thumb, index, middle, then put the index back. So that bar is 1, 2, 3. So that just lets ring. And it gives us time to make the, which happens just coming up in just a moment, okay? So let's recap. I'm going to take it from the B minor style chord, so this is the bottom line on that first page. Here we go. And 2, 3, 4, C, 2, again. All this talk will make you old. Okay, good. So let's do the sort of really iconic part. So coming from your A minor chord, the best way to think about this is if you lift up your ring finger, you've got your index and middle. So index is on fret 1 on the B, middle finger is on fret 2 on the D, and you're just going to slide that shape up 2 frets. So very similar to how we had that sort of F major style chord at the beginning. So just move that up. Pinch it. Now pinching means pulling 2 strings at the same time. So our thumb is going to be on the D string and our middle finger is going to be on the B, making 3rd frets on the B and 4th on the D. So pinch that, close, then move your middle finger up 1 fret, but stay on the same string. Notice how I haven't lifted up, and put your ring finger on fret 5 to get 5 on the D and 5 on the B. So we've got, good. Then take this thing and move this shape, these 5s, don't let go of the strings. You can let go to move them up the neck, but try to keep them sort of in the grooves of your calluses as you move up to fret 7. Okay, so you see I'm using the same fingers there. So it's, so that's 3 and 4, 5, and they're all pinches, all on the same string. So that's all thumb and middle finger for fingerstyle. So that's what we do to start with. Close my eyes. I think it's lower than that. And then we go 3 and 4. to 5s again, and then back to 3 and 4. So nothing new. Look behind, moving on. Okay, so I'll do that again. Close my eyes, look behind, moving on. You'll have to excuse me, I've lost the key, but anyway. So once we've done that section, we're then going to go to, it's a G of sorts. I'm going to sort of be I'm going to try to think of it more in terms of frets rather than what I'm calling it. So fret 3 on the thickest string and fret 3 on the B string. I'm using my middle and my ring finger to perform that. Thumb plays the bass note, the thickest string, index finger on the open G string, and middle finger on the B string. We do that 4 times. So I close my eyes, look behind, moving on. Okay, so you can see that I returns to an A minor at that point, and it's something that we've actually already done before. We did it in bar 16, so it's where we're just lifting up the index finger on the A minor on the second time we do the picking pattern. So lift it up, and then we just do it the 3 times and hold to the end of the bar. So it's moving on. Then we repeat this part, play it again. Okay, and then what we would do is if we were, I didn't do this in my intro performance, but we'd then go back to the beginning. And then there's different words. Da, 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 and we repeat it all. Da, 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 da. And then back up here. Da, 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 da. To the B7. Da, 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 da. This is the D. And anyway, that all goes rounds as we have talked about. So that you repeat essentially. That's why there is a number 1 over the music, and then we're going to go to the number 2. So this is the midsection of the song. Now we hold down fret 3 on the A string and fret 4 on the B string. And the picking pattern is A string, G string, and B string. You might obviously know this in the song. Okay, so what am I doing there? So you got your 3 and your 4, you're playing that 4 times. I'm then going to the 3rd fret on the thickest string and on the B string, and I've already shown you how to do that. We've done that earlier in the song. On the music, it's called a G5 there, so you've already done that. So it is once, 1 bar of this, then 1 bar of the G, and then again back to that first C minor style chord, then the G. And then we've got a higher version of the close my eyes. So what we do with this is we go to 7s. So we've got the G, the D and the B string. Playing those 2, that's a pinch again, so that's thumb and middle finger. Then move up to 8 and 9. So we're not far away. We can just move the middle finger and the index finger. So you've got 9, which will be your 3rd white dot on most standard acoustics, and your index finger on the B string. So we've got, and then we go back to 7, the 2 7s, then open D string. I'll do that slowly. Then the next bar is your 7s again, and 8. And then there's the open A string 3 times. Now to get this rhythm is a little challenging, and you're going to need to work at it. That bit's fine, but then when you do this, okay, now it's easier to hear the rhythm with when I join into this next bar, which goes. Okay, so I'll do that slowly so you can kind of hear where that fits. So it's. So I'm going, the count is 2 and So let's get on to what I'm doing down here, which we're joining it, and then I'll talk about the rhythm a little bit more from that part before. So we've got fret 1 on the B string, fret 2 on the G. We're pinching those with the index and middle finger, and we're sliding them quickly up to fret 3. So that means keeping the pressure down, really digging into your callus, and then bringing it back to fret 1. So we go up and then back down. Now it might take a bit of practice. I've got my thumb round a little bit, really pushing into the bone of my thumb, pushing in here, and we need to keep it ringing. It's really easy to do this and stop that from ringing, so keep the pressure down. Okay, so backing up to that bar before. And one more, I'll do it really slow. Okay, so really work at that. The rest of that bar is an open A and B string, then open A string, then fret 1 on the B string, I'm pinching the A string, so it's again. The next bar and the penultimate bar, open A, open D, and the same slide, and then open strings. So that's open on the G and B, the two that you just slid. I'll do that again. Then open D, then that 1 and 2 on the B and the G string. Okay, so I'll put it all together, starting on bar 27 when we're on these 7s, and I'll do it as slow as I can because I consider this part to be the most challenging part in the song. And then he goes back to this, and it all goes round. And then he finishes the song by bringing his thumb over and playing the thickest string, the G, because the song's in the key of G, on the 3rd fret. So I really hope you enjoyed that. Really great song. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Keep on playing.